strikes, which is ridiculous for a 5-map pool.
Yeah.
You just go straight back to the neutral stages for your matchup. Counter picks just don't feel like counter picks anymore.
Oh, people are telling me that I have to update the title. That's why people thought it was
Yes.
2v2.
Yeah, it still says it's 2v2.
All right, 6:30 just happened. Everything
All
is
right,
now locked in. Let me see if I can finalize the bracket.
let's do it. It's funny, I was just commentating for the 3v3 finals for Bink's tournament, the featherweight.
How was that?
Jazz, it was a lot of fun. Jazz and quads did bring it down. It was actually my first time casting threes. Fortunately, it wasn't as difficult as I thought it was gonna be. For the most part, I think just comes because I know the game mode, but still, it's no doubt like a very hectic game mode to keep track of, especially since there's no camera to look around the map and see what the hell's going on. You have to look at someone's POV.
Brackets are up. They've been finalized. Everyone take a look at your standings and find your matches. And we get to pick who we want to look at. So
Let me look at the bracket real quick. Oh, I should join the what's the keyword for the
Oh, yeah, I should set
the
that
room?
up. It's going to be Panda 13, but let me start that.
Panda 13? Gotcha. Alright, let's see some of these matchups. C-Knight versus Crag. Ooh, C-Knight entered, let's go. I still can't see his build, unfortunately. That's tragic. Oh well.
I'll correct that in a second. So Panda 13, when you want to join, C-Knight would be a good pick. Starcanum would be a good pick. Nevin is always fun. Let's do Nevin and Orange. Those guys are...
Nevin Orange sounds like a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I'm down for that. Is it lowercase Panda?
Yeah.
Gotcha. I'm in. What is this new idea you're running? Let me check this.
Oh, it's not actually very good.
You know what? I will let you cook.
Yeah.
Oh, the Coral Blade. Okay, yeah, I see why you don't think it's good.
The thing that actually hurt my soul about it is I found a bunch of new bugs with Therapist and Soft Lock, and I refuse to play Hard Lock. So
right. There you go. A reason to use it.
Yeah.
You got Orange Dream with a Zim hammer, like a Zim shield, but with a hammer instead. I've played this guy before quite a bit, actually.
Oh, it's just,
nice.
It feels like 1.4.
Nice little. Yeah, it's nice like variant of the classic Zim shield build. It has P10 because it is on the heavier side,
P10
which makes sense.
I love P10.
Yeah, P10, my beloved.
Yeah.
You gotta remember, I'm also a P10 gamer.
Respect. That's why you're here.
In threes, but still. Yeah, in order to be a commentator, you have to be you either have to be a P10 gamer or you have to be Taka.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not allowed to be here.
I mean, Taka, P10 is probably the booster he spent the most time on, because every time you unequip tank legs, it goes to P10. So he's pretty much a
True.
P10.
That's a good point. You know, like the one game he accidentally forgets to play a boat or whatever, he just happens to be on P10.
Yeah. All right, so this is double elimination, double elimination and best of 3. So
well, Nevin actually, Nevin running like, I feel like these guys should swap frames low key. You'd expect to see like the Zim shield with the drones to be on this mid-weight frame, and you got the Zim missiles. You would expect this to be, granted, it's also on P10, so we will be seeing purely jousting going on.
Let me try to get builds visible. I just had somebody say that.
They are readying up.
Yeah, feel free to start whenever.
All right.
The stream should be there, and then I'll just be fiddling while that happens.
Yeah, we still cannot see builds, unfortunately. Hopefully that will be fixed. If not, then it's alright. I mean, you'll see the build in the lobby anyways. Okay, I can see them now. We're good.
Oh, okay.
Here we go. Straight into it. Orange Dream versus Nevin. Both of these guys on P10, so we're going to be seeing mostly jousting, very little neutral movement, which is cool, but I will mention that a lot of the Zim builds these days, aside from Quad Shoddy, we do see some neutral movement more often.
I saw a lot of Strider's Alula has been really hard for me to fight.
Yes, Alula has been the preferred now for Zim Shield because it makes the LAN matchup a lot easier.
Interesting.
and it doesn't sacrifice the other matchups significantly enough to really make it a bad choice. Especially since tanks are kind of out of the meta.
Yeah.
For the most part, so you don't really have to worry about that. But as it stands right now, you know, an AP lead is in favor of Orange Dream, or sorry, Nevin, and actually getting the stagger already, so just healthy. He can just kind of rat it out on this map.
Yeah, and the way that Orange is fishing for hammers, he just goes in and throws a hammer out and then eats all the missiles.
Yeah, look at that. Again, just eating everything. Nevin controlling space really nicely here. Using his speed to his advantage, without a doubt.
What do you think the Orange build is at? Like
Ooh, nice kick.
Oh, it's just like that.
That's a good question. That's a good question, actually. I have no idea. But that is a Pulse Armor advantage. No, they both traded Pulse Armors, didn't they?
I don't know.
Never mind.
Yeah, there we go. That sounds right.
Please, FromSoft, give us visual cue so we don't furore. So effectively, even in terms of the health bars, still a lead on Nevin, and he has actually no space for him at all. Does eat the hammer, actually, but doesn't
Barely.
matter. Yeah. This really boils down to if Orange Dream can either land a kick or a hammer when he's trying to A-B cross, you know? As opposed to, like, just going in a straight line, like, he has to go back.
I mean, like, to be honest, in this match, though, it feels like Nevin could literally just rat. Like, he's got the range advantage and he's got a speed advantage. So, yeah, everybody's on Zims, but like
that is the game plan from Nevin. You can see he's not really. He's going in for a Zim shot and then just getting out because he knows he will lose the extended fight.
He's also got a really good aiming advantage because he's on Alba instead of Basho. So
Good
during
point,
those
actually.
jousts, he's like.
He gets the lock on first, and he's faster, so the lock could potentially be broken, especially if they're like barely outside of Oscilla's range, which Zims do reach.
I have like 15 minutes of experience on Zims, though. I'm like I have no idea what's going on right now.
I have some idea. Don't worry. But so far, yeah, just Nevin controlling space, using that speed to his advantage. You can really see why Zims in general, if they don't have missiles, they're lighter. That's kind of like the idea now, or their quad shotgun. But even then, those are also lighter.
Like, not only does he have double the Zims, but he's like connecting every time.
Yeah, and it feels like Orange Dream has not been so fortunate. He has missed a few of these.
Yeah.
He has landed a couple of hammers, but it just doesn't matter in this situation. Doesn't confirm it with the kick, unfortunately, but still probably just going to be game. I don't really see where Nevin could fall there. Yep, there you go.
I kind of
nicely played there.
I feel like this build might run better on like a 4-2-4 or something like that Orange is using.
I could see that. The thing is, Tianqiang just doesn't really have a place in the meta anymore at all. And yeah, it looks great. It is the cargo shorts, especially if you're a 5th gen fan. But like, there's no reason to run them over pretty much any other legs unless you really need the load limit. Yeah, desert legs are just better. Exactly, Farquad. The only time you would ever run it over is if you're just somehow overweight on desert legs. In which place, like, you could probably just save weight somehow. Or go to snail legs.
I liked them at one point because they're the best kinetic stat, which I care about for Ricochet when I'm trying to like not lose to Zims. But after the
Very true.
It's just so like you lose so much more than you gain.
Yeah, because they're the big argument for them compared to the other ones. They were so easy to not surpass weight points, so that they could still be very fast on them, while like having all the advantages that a heavyweight leg provides.
Yeah.
But that's not really the case anymore. They're only a little bit like you're not going to be breaking any or not breaking any weight points with those anymore. You're still very much going to be too heavy to really deal with these kind of situations. It's also why Laser Swap has went to pretty much a midweight at this point as well. From the shout out to my Lazy Swap players that are still out there. A lot of stagger already from Orange Dream. Yeah, all of these Zims just connecting is really tough for Orange Dream to really get anything done. And Nevin's just out of there. Lands a hammer, actually. That could be big.
Yeah, he has to,
doesn't get the stagger, though. Nice kick.
Pulls ahead.
Yeah. Now, at this point, I wonder if going to the shell, in the inner shell, might be the play. Or just something. Just force.
Oh, that's so true, because hammer goes through walls.
Yeah, not just that, but he just needs to force Nevin to go to him as opposed to what's going on right now, where he's continuing the pace.
Yeah. But
Because
like,
he has drones, he has Wasted Rat, and he's not that slow where he'll take a billion damage getting away. You know?
well, I feel like staying in the shell kind of like blocks a lot of the missiles from Nevin, and
That too, yeah. It forces the engage. That's what I'm trying to say. Also, I will say, Orange Dream has not been doing a great job shielding the Zims very much.
oh yeah,
He's
I
very
forgot he had
much
shield at all.
See, exactly. That's all you need to know. He's been just straight committed to this AB game plan.
Yeah.
When genuinely, especially because we're seeing that Nevin is shooting his Zims exactly at the same time, Shield will just completely nullify that. Because as many people know, the best way to deal with Shield as a Zim player is to alternate your Zims, so they can't parry both, or they have to use 2 charges to parry both.
That's a good point.
As Risa would say, don't shoot your Zims like a metronome. And that's something we are seeing from Nevin, which is working because Orange Dream is not parrying anything. Like, okay, he tried parrying there, but unfortunately, not getting anything. It's just a point of you have to pay attention to when they raise their hands with the Zimmermans. Because that gives you a time to react to it.
Sparkog brought up an interesting point of this Zim versus the, like the main difference between it and Rat Knight is like that versus a missile. And the only thing Zim really does is it extends your stagger combo, which might not be necessary.
I think he just wants like a more straightforward means for a stagger punish, because the Zim kick Zim thing, it's not even like bad. It's still a very good punish with the drones, but it's even more deadly and more straightforward with the hammer. Right, you just gotta walk up there and do it. But no question about it, it could definitely be more optimal. I'm just trying to think of the thought process as to why he might want to do this.
Yeah, I would be really interested with this build with like a Majestic instead of hammer on a mid quad.
Maybe. Then it's starting to look like an M-Preg with shield.
Yeah, which like honestly, shield is great. We used to use shield a lot when Strider first came out.
Yeah, shield is great on Tetra as well. Exactly.
Again, I just don't use it because of hard lock.
No, valid.
He's tired. I'm tired, boss.
Oh. I mean, there's no reason not to. You're so far away already, so... Can Orange Dream bring it? It looks like he might just be conceding this one. Yeah. Alright, win 2 at Nevin. 2-0. Very dominant. Didn't drop a single one.
Oh, some people are saying I am still quiet. Let me see if I can adjust that.
Go for it. Alright, what next could we grab? Let's look around. I know that a lot of the round 1s are probably playing, so we might have to wait until round 2. We got... Oh, Bulls is like running a LRB, LRA, else. That is...
He's always been a laser fan.
A laser tank. I'm aware, but like... Not this variant. This is interesting. I guess I just don't see Bulls in tournaments for a while. Reasons that I won't get into. And then Celestio is running his patented Kurosawa Tetra, which is always fun to see. Though I get... Huh? Are they playing right now? They probably are.
Sorry.
Yeah. Just trying to think, what do we want to grab? Strider Masaki already played. We could do Sea Knight Search Bee if they haven't started yet.
Let me see.
Wait, Crash Panda is here?
Oh yeah, he plays frequently.
We have to get... I actually didn't know Crash Panda enters these. I won't lie.
Alright, round 2. Who made it? Oh, Strider Masaki, that'd be good.
They just finished.
They just finished? Okay.
Sea Knight Search Bee. I don't see Search Bee on stream very often because it just doesn't enter.
Yeah, and I love watching Sea Knight.
Sea Knight's always fun to watch too.
Let's let him know.
Yeah, let's do it. Great to see Search Bee again. The pile bunker of all time.
What is Search Bee's... Oh, SI.
And we do see KTN also taking over Sutadora as well. What does Sudadara play actually? Let me check. Ah, it's like a. I think I've seen this before, but it's like a weird variant of like the Estrogen Larb Shield. With instead you have a PR instead of
Who are you looking at?
the person KTN beat Sudadara.
Got it.
Just looking around at the builds, you feel me?
Yeah.
This is gonna be a fun one.
I love watching Rat Knight.
Rat Knight's always a great time. Especially for those who, I know some people do like the meta before 1.05 more than the current one. So, you know, if you like that callback, there you go. I myself, not so much, but, you know, I do still like watching Rat Knight at the current stage where it is significantly worse than it was prior. And, you know, this was the guy that made the build. This was the guy that popularized it, that
Still plays
basically patented it.
Yeah.
He's like the only... He's the only one left, to my knowledge, too, because Lulu, I believe, plays Lamb now. Who really was, like, the other one.
It's hard not to play Lamb. Lamb's so strong.
Yeah, and then Farquaad obviously swapped to LCB tank.
He still plays it every once in a while. Whenever I do too well against tank, he starts to hammer me.
I can see that. I know 1.06, he tried it for a little bit as well after the LARB nerfs. Or the, LARB, the LCB.
Cypher. Meanwhile, I know Cypher. This guy's he's a pile bunker surfer. I love this dude.
Yeah, we got the search bee. If anyone's ever seen the Striker clip, this is the guy. Every time, you know, you're not allowed to say that Melee loses the verticality in his stream, because otherwise you will have to watch the clip like 30 times to repent for your sins. But as it stands, you know, you have to worry about the shield, which I think every single Melee player will say is the worst thing to deal with. Now, granted, there are no kinetics on the side of Sea Knight, so dodging is going to be the name of the game for Cypher as well.
Yeah, well, good luck in dodging hammer.
Oh, he actually gets the bump! There you go, into the AA. Now he has to get out of there because look at his stagger bar. Is barely caught by the second one, it looks like, but because there was a second one, no punish up. No follow-up, sorry.
This is very interesting.
And one thing nice about Kikaku is, in situations like that where you don't actually get the kill, it is a very efficient booster for getting away. So
in what sense?
Like the AB takes like nothing, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it's so slow.
It is slow, but you are against a PO4.
Oh, that's true. They're both slow.
Yeah, they're both pretty slow. So I think in a situation like that, he was able to get away pretty well, and it was only able to eat one hammer because of it.
Interesting.
So so far, game one or phase one going to Cypher. Go ahead.
It's always interesting to remember that like people who don't just long range can rat. Like he's just got a Harris, but like, you know, if he's got AP advantage. I think that's one of the things that makes Pile Bunker so strong is you don't actually need to kill it, you just need to tag him.
Yeah. Another thing I also want to mention, oh, what a slide! That was beautiful. Another thing that's also really nice for Search Me in this matchup, you know what also doesn't do great against the shield? Sea Knight, or Rat Knight, sorry. You know, because its main form of damage in like impacts comes from kicks and hammer, and guess what that counters by? Guess what that's countered by?
So there's a small piece of tech here that most people probably don't know, it looks like including Sea Knight, is if somebody assault armors you, there's actually invulnerability frames on PA, and so if you counter time it, you can block 100% of it.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, getting the catch with the hammer there does mean Sea Knight will bring the phase back. So we have a pretty competitive one, and Cypher was looking like he was going to take it 2-0, so that was a nice little rebound there from Sea Knight, I will say. I wonder if, I feel like Search B needs to keep his assault armor for whenever the pulse armor comes out.
Oh,
he's using it aggressively for damage, but there's just not enough damage to kill this rat like that.
Yeah, and he's got more than 2,000 stability, so he's like, alright.
Yeah, so I think saving it maybe for the pulse armor just so you can at least reset the situation might be the play. That should be a bunk right there. Nicely done there. And nope, he's listening. He didn't use it. It could also, if he gets staggered himself, it will force, he won't be able to get the hammer off as a punish.
Yeah, because it'll stagger him now.
Yep. There we go. And, ooh, I like that, actually. Just immediately going for the bunk to delete the shield. And there's no shield to be had at all now.
Man,
I wonder if you can just chip him from
here. This is so
here.
cool to watch for me, because it's always been like, oh, melee, whatever, I'll just shuffle. But I understand that 90% of people don't just spec 100% new agility.
Yeah. Not too many ratters these days anymore.
Yeah.
There are people that are willing to rat, but not like pure rat playstyles.
Yeah.
Unless you're a threes gamer.
That's why I like threes.
Hell yeah. Okay,
it's really fun watching people when they specialize in stuff, because there's so much movement that like doesn't unlock until you really like when you're on tank and you know how to position your treads or nice.
No,
just clip
chipped.
them.
Yeah, just chipped by that. I don't even think Searchby like was ready to parry that.
I would have just been running. I mean, like obviously I would have been. But...
agree. No, I wanted to mention that I do think Searchby kind of shot himself in the foot by continuing to go back in there, because he's on Kikaku. He's against a really slow opponent. Like, yeah, it's efficient, but not as efficient as Kikaku. There's a good chance he just gets out anyways, and the missiles will miss, of course, and you can kind of just pelt them away with Harris's. But either way, going into game 2 with C Knight coming on top on that first one, just barely.
Yeah, the initial application is so reliable, and then you've got like an 80% lead. If you can just hard reset,
it's so important. Like, the only times you never see builds like not rat, if they literally physically cannot, like they're too slow.
Yeah.
Like, that's why people don't see me rat very often, because I just lose AP lead on the way out, and then I have to find a way back.
What do you run?
I'm the rifle kite, the heavy one.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. People call it Melevator now because Gekuro doesn't play as much.
Oh, the Sandal Dance.
It's a variant of Sandal Dance
Cool.
for singles. Yeah, we ran into each other once in a Panda Cup.
I honestly spend so little time looking at my opponents.
Valid. It was a tournament. I beat Azuma and Kine at that tournament.
Oh, cool. Good job.
Yeah.
All right, he's looking for him. He's missed him.
Bit of a brag, but either way, I don't think Searchby or not Searchby. Striker got.
C Knight.
I've been commentating for a while.
One of them.
Listen.
Yeah.
Yeah. C Knight didn't get the scan with the arrowhead. One thing about that head is the scan is pretty mediocre.
Also, it's gonna be so hard to reset stagger because you're a big fatty.
Big fatty just constantly eating these.
Oh, blocks it though.
Yeah. Doesn't mean. Oh, tries to go for it yet again, but it just gets parried. And look at the stagger bar in Cypher.
Wow, that was a great play.
Okay, but the kick was parried, so it does mean that a second lease of life for Searchby potentially.
Yeah.
But smartly, you can see C Knight getting away from the situation, trying to generate some space for himself.
And he's gone rat mode now. He owns the building. Pushing
and it's
on
so
hammer
risky.
Is so spooky.
Yeah, and it's so risky to catch or to chase this because it's so easy for C Knight to just turn around and hammer you for doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't even get to see the startup animations because his arm is behind a wall.
Exactly. But you can still see Searchby still trying to fight, but you can see like C Knight is making this as hard as possible. All of the hair shots, unfortunately, not landing. He is on Kikaku, I believe, so it is very hard to really get those shots from those ranges. Of course, it's what you gotta do, but it's just an unfortunate flaw as to the archetype that he's going with. Alright, going into phase 2, though. Let's see if Searchby has any tank or any gas left in the tank, because we are seeing some really nice plays from him prior to the previous phase, which was a little dominant from C Knight. Alright, a lot of stagger again, but it's always been the case where Searchby can get the stagger, but the beefiness on this build just nullifies the insane stagger punish that Pile Bunker typically is. Oh, gets caught from the hammer. Unfortunately, doesn't get hit by the second one.
He hit the ground, looks like.
Yeah.
Cypher is so consistently good at these openings, though.
That's the one thing he's most famous for. It's his movement with melee. It is so clean, and look
get
at
out
him
of
zip
there.
across
Oh.
the screen just like
Oh.
that.
Oh no.
I think that might be it. Able to parry it. Parry again with the shield. This is still in the realms of possibility for Searchby.
Just needs one more.
But he is getting chipped away right now.
Oh!
No! Hammer still hitting there. Does mean that 2-0 for C-Knight, but very close.
Yeah, both of those. That was good.
Wow. That was a great one to watch. Searchby, it looked like he expected the hair shot to stagger, and that was why, or it was the bazooka, he expected that to stagger. Which is why you saw him, like, go in immediately, kind of like autopilot. I totally get you on that.
Oh, that's a good reminder, because you have to precast that I should put up the ping check. Give me a second.
True. Yeah, you could saw that, he was just trying to go immediately for the stagger punish immediately, expecting that bazooka to stagger, but it just wasn't enough. Because that is a common thing, where you kind of just preemptively get ready to use your stagger punish, especially a thing in threes with ear shots. You kind of have to anticipate stagger, and then that way you will get your punish in time.
Absolutely.
And they won't just, like, get out. And so we're seeing, like, shades of that, but with a melee build. Definitely, expected that. But at the end of the day, it is Searchby moving on. And what can I grab? Are people asking for a ping check? That's
no, but
on,
it's just good to track.
Yeah. Valid.
Speaking of which, am I also recording? I am recording. That's great. Last time I forgot to record, and Bandit was not happy with me.
How you? Nevin Balzeb. I think they might be playing, but that would have been a fun one to watch. I do enjoy watching even if it's kind of a losing matchup for Rifle Kite, I do like watching Rifle Kite Zim.
Why is ping not showing?
Oh, Balzeb is not responding. Let me, like, at him, because he was very much active. Alright, Nevin, I added Ballstep as well in a different server. See if he answers.
Well, if it's been 10 minutes, he's
just okay.
Yeah, we'll drop him down to losers bracket, because we gotta keep everybody moving.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that guy's normally here.
No question about it. I know he's been playing, like, all day, because he was also, well, he wasn't playing, but he was casting the Bink tournament as well. I guess we can wait for round 3 in that case, because I'm thinking everyone's playing.
We got Starcanim and Nevin that we could watch.
That'd be a nice one. What does Starcanim play now? Because I know he kind of just, like, shuffles around with the meta builds.
I think he likes to play Zim variants most.
Whoa. Etsujin Zimmerman. This is like a variant of the Etsu Shield, like the heavier version. With TQ core. This is a cool build, actually.
Yeah, I like it.
Huxley's I didn't expect, but I can understand the reasoning behind it as well.
I think that should probably be a missile, because whenever somebody doesn't play missiles, it feels very free for me. But
yes,
I'll let him,
yeah, because also it will make the tank matchup tougher as well.
Yeah.
Etsujins are not good into tanks. Zims are okay, but still, you kind of just want a means to pressure them from range.
So did we know? Did we let Nevin and?
I can add them.
Hold on, I'll do that.
All right, you got it. Consider punching to wall, then Zook for rollbang, then Bink. So true, Board. So true. Yeah, Orange Dream. It's Etsu Zim. It's like Etsu Shield and Zim Shield, and then like just a Huxley for some reason. Which, I'm all for. I forgot that he made that his freaking.
All right.
I forgot that he made that his emblem. Yet he's not on Mpreg. Curious.
Starcanum is so funny.
It's so good. That was his he did that in the 2's tournament as well, right?
I'm still laugh every time I think about where he dressed up as Misaki for like 3 months.
What?
Yeah, he changed his icon and he played the exact same build.
Why?
I don't know.
That is funny, but like, why?
Yeah.
You just wanted to be. I guess I know one time when like me and Farquaad used to like do things together in terms of like threes and stuff. I would often on Melee net play, I would just randomly change my name to Lord Farquaad. All right, Nevin into Starganium. Let's see how this one goes.
Yeah.
I feel like the game plan for Nevin basically remains the exact same from the previous, and that is use those missiles to your advantage, use your speed to your advantage, and get the hell away.
But
yep,
Starcanum
there he is.
Pretty talented at Zim play. Even though a lot of times like he's on EU, so you don't really get to see his finesse. He's a really good player.
And even though like he's lighter, even though he's heavier than Nevin, he's not necessarily slow.
Yeah.
He still has, he still has a Lula booster. He still has 422 legs. Like, this is not... He just has a lot of stability, but it's not actually a slow build, necessarily.
Looks like he's losing these trades, though, which is interesting.
Not even get the read on. Didn't get the Zim shot there either. Somehow Nevin is just avoiding everything, despite not even having to shield himself. But there's a stagger punish into a kick. This line's something, but this build doesn't do the crazy stagger punish without the double Zims.
Yeah.
So he didn't actually pay for that much, because remember, he's on Alba arms. Those don't have very good stats.
I mean, they're winning these trades though. Every time he goes by and he hits and the other guy misses, because
no question about it. I'm more so talking about like defensive stats.
Yeah. They're aside from HP, they're almost just better versions of Basho.
Yeah, but Basho has like 3 trillion HP now.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think that more than evens it out. But regardless of all of that, the lead still remains on Nevin's side.
Yeah.
Both of these guys don't have their PAs, at least if I remember quickly. And Nevin is just kind of...
It feels like the Huxley is not paying dividends very well.
Yeah, I don't really think the Huxley, because there's no problems with him building a stagger at this range. He has an Oxygen, which is great for people circling him. He has Zim, which is the classic stagger build-upper. The Huxley will help further. You'll get the first stagger for him in the house, but then you get to situations like this where, what do? You're just gonna get ratted. You're just gonna get timed out.
Yeah, and Nevin's not even particularly ratty. He's just like...
He's not. He's just faster. And he is on P10, which does mean his capability to do these are significantly better than if he was on other boosters, honestly.
But Alula has a better short, like in the Zim engagement range that they're trying to do.
That is also true.
P10 just lets you escape.
Yeah, and P10 is better for outlasting, but when it comes to actually like casting someone before they're too far away, Alula should be better than that.
Oh, let me look at Nevin's side. Is he shuffling?
I actually couldn't tell in that engagement, and I wasn't paying attention to it. That looked like he's shuffling. It looks like they're kind of just strafing. Oh, no, there's a bit of shuffling there.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit.
So, nice to see, at least a little bit being implemented.
Yeah, well, it's the right decision when you're running away from somebody. Like, what else are you going to do with your camera?
Yeah, exactly. And I do think, I do like that he's not using all of his energy at once, because he knows like he can kind of just outlast them regardless. And he's not going to be at risk of getting kicked when, even with Alula, I'm pretty sure he might even still be slower, like as far as those two would, to be honest.
Yeah, Alula has to burn for QBs to catch up.
Exactly. And P10, like, just going raw without even shuffling, it still has an amazing AD speed. So, even without shuffling. But so far, you know, not a very true lead, actually. And
Oh,
has a
lost
chance
it.
to bring it back. Yep, Starkadum has the lead now.
Yeah, messed up his AB just a little bit. And he's got 18 seconds to fix it.
Yeah.
Does he even know where he is? He's got it.
He should have.
He
There's no
doesn't.
way. Oh my god.
PA? Yeah.
PA pops. Now it just boils down to how much damage can Starkadum get before the call is done. And yeah, that's the game. Barely losing that AB. I think that pulse shield earlier really came back to bite Nevin.
Well, he messed up a run, right? He had everything kind of figured out. It was a very methodical play, and then he like bumped into something and lost some of his speed, and then he started taking chip.
Yeah, good point as well. Yeah, just a small little misplay can really mean everything in a matchup like this. So you're not really getting any significant leads in the health bars, but you are still doing a job making sure you're not getting caught. And nice little carry there from Starkadum. That's one thing that he is definitely better at than Orange Dream was previously, we were saying. So that's one thing that I am enjoying from Starkadum's play.
Yeah.
And that is just a healthy lead.
Finally got what he was wanting. Oh, and now it's going back the other way though.
Okay, yeah, but look at where he is, and so much health actually already lost.
Now he can just backpedal. I mean, I guess versus missiles, that's not free.
I think, if anything, go to the shell. Go like underneath it and just like wait for them, because what are they gonna do with missiles?
Or just take it, yeah.
Yeah, because Nevin was still trying to aggress, which, you know, understandable. He was getting pressured and whatnot, but, like, at the end of the day, Starkadum, the fattier guy of the bunch, will take it.
The impregnated one.
He's
fighting for 2.
Exactly. Exactly. I don't have to ever worry about maps either now, because that's one thing nice about Panda Cup. I don't have to ever like say what map are they gonna go.
Yeah,
you know.
I think they're gonna go to Dunes. That's been the trend so far.
Yeah, you know, I think it's a good map for both of these guys. I can see why they like it. You know. You know. Definitely what we were gonna say when you know, they have to face someone like you on a map like this, or freaking, you know, Lock.
Yeah. Well, that's how I feel every time I have to go to City A. I'm like, well, I'll know where to run, I guess. Yeah.
True.
I actually like City A. I think it's one of the funner maps. If it was even like 10 or 15% larger, I would play it every time.
I think City A is my favorite map in the game, and I don't even think it's that good for my build in a lot of matchups.
My favorite build for sure is Watchpoint. I think
Watchpoint's a good time too.
It's just like so. There's not very many builds that get just ruined on it.
I personally like maps with a lot of cover. So, I mean, Watchmen does have good cover, but there is a lot of open space, which is my only complaint about it.
You can kind of like play in either area.
Yeah. I do like that City A is very,
dense.
It has a decent amount of, yeah, it's dense. But either way, this is not about City A, this is all about the bonus A.
Yeah.
And so far, actually a bit of health lead on Nevin's side right now, but we've seen that does not matter.
Yeah, going back and forth.
It just takes one time to catch the rat, and that could very well just be the end of its life.
It looks like one of the difficulties that Starkadum is having is getting his Huxley to spawn during the trade. It's coming out a little late.
Yeah, I feel like he might be overheating it, because I don't know if there's a... Is there a visual cue for Huxley's overheating?
I don't know, but he doesn't have it up very often, and he's not getting picked.
Yeah, he needs to definitely get it on the second the joust, like, for them to go on into each other's resume. That's just not happening.
Yeah, now it's overheated.
Yeah, but Nevin is definitely still in a pretty rough situation, because that is full armor gone.
Yeah, and he's losing still.
Yeah, and he's already down. This is very bad for him.
Tries to shuffle, can't escape.
The kick missing does help him a little bit, but you can see already a lot of stagger. That's one thing nice about the Epigens. You kind of just shoot it, you forget about it. You don't have to actually time it with your zooms necessarily to catch the rat.
Something I've just noticed, because it's Alula versus P10, every time you change vertical height, because you have to QB to do that effectively, Alula is losing about 300 energy per like QB that you do. So if you're trying to run, instead of doing it vertically, if you go up, especially because you have missiles and the other guy doesn't, That actually might be like a safe option.
I just want to mention that Nevin purged one of his missiles. He is fully going to
Interesting.
just rely on this rat place out. And I don't know about purging missile. I wonder if purging a Zim might be better.
Well, he's already 75k because those legs can't go above it.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, yeah, he'll definitely lose some weight, but I don't know if it's enough to really matter or make up the missile difference. Now, like, his actual ability to claw this lead back significantly smaller.
The 10 cells aren't that energy intensive though, right? It's mostly weight.
Yeah, they're not. Split missiles, I think, are drainier, if anything. I'm actually surprised he felt the split missiles enough to...
I wonder if it was an accident.
Maybe.
I still think back to the time that Chloro purged his Zims versus me.
Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, he did that into Azuma too, didn't he? And that won him like the set. He was like losing prior.
That's funny.
I love that you can just do that and you just become a shitty Zim shooter. Same thing with quad shotguns. You gotta do that with quad shotguns as well sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's two more, you know? It's like...
Yeah. You first the one shotgun, so you use the other shotgun. Either way, though, Nevin not really able to get much. I mean, the health speed is still like basically even and actually in his favor right now, but he is forced to pop.
He just has to run. He's got 13 seconds.
Yeah.
And he did it. He did it.
I actually think Arcanum lost track of where he was.
Yeah, he got stuck in the building a little bit.
Okay.
Oh, but he just has to go in and get one shot. I think that actually, if he didn't PA there, if he just went in and tried to do like ricochet damage.
There is definitely a real chance with that, to be honest. Without a doubt. And with that, that is going to be some life from Nevin again. It's nice to see.
Alright, let's see if he drops the missiles.
No, he doesn't actually this time. He is deciding to keep them on. Gonna continue with the rat playstyle as always. What you gotta do. But he does believe that the missile firepower will be better this time around. That or he just did it by accident. I was like, oh, the Zims get through.
Wow, that was terrifying when he dropped the AB.
Yeah.
But pays off. It's crazy that he got the stagger first, even though he's got like way worse CQC. Oh, drops the missile.
The thing is because there was no parry on the shield there. Both of Zims just hit AB.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That said, though, you can see, yeah, the missiles were dropped. I think this is actually a great time to drop it because all you care about is keeping that lead now. And the lead is... The thing is, though, Etigen is great at crawling itself back. Because it's amazing at chasing people.
I just don't think that the weight matters that much, and I don't think the energy difference matters that much. Like, he's not running on EN. He's running on spacing.
Without a doubt, yeah. I do agree with that, but I do think if there's a time to drop it, if anything, it might be now.
Yeah.
It does mean that it'll be an easier time to keep the lead.
Yeah, he did do a quick AB on that one, so I'm interested. I want to get his opinion on that after this game.
Oh, yeah, that'll be good. He is forced to PA, though, in a kind of a rough situation. He's gonna get out of there, and this AP lead is getting smaller and smaller. That is one issue about him having only one type of missile. Slowly but surely, Stargainem is going to get enough Etigen shots to get it back. But you know, a lot of space is generated, and I think that's actually just aim. Unless he gets a ricochet shot right now, but he is behind the wall.
Wow.
AD away, and that is it. Nevin will take the one.
So it's 1-1 now?
Yes, it is.
It's a good match.
Yeah, I'm liking Nevin's play. I like this. And it was definitely weird that he dropped it, but it turns out to be a strategy that was, in the long run, successful.
Mm-hmm.
And if that is what it is, if that's what, you know, if the result gets you the win,
yeah, then it's a smart idea.
The game plan is definitely good enough, say the least. But I do think dropping the MLT-10 is not as good as dropping the split missile in this situation.
Yeah, MLT-10, especially when you're running, is like, yeah, they can QB around it, but if they're QBing, then they're not going to catch you.
Alula has very drainy QB. Yeah. MLT-10 also locks faster, so it's much easier to use before running away.
Mm-hmm. I don't even like
split
splits
missiles,
if it's ground to ground. Like if you're
yeah,
not doing a vertical offset, I think splits are pretty bad.
yeah. Like split missiles are with Oculus take a very long time, especially because he has the heavier split.
Oh, he's on Oculus. What the fuck?
Yeah, or is he on Talbot? I could be wrong. I think he might be on Talbot. Let me check.
Oh, if he's on Talbot, they have almost the same accuracy. That's interesting.
He's on Talbot, so I think that's why he's also on Alba Arm.
Yeah,
Make up for the lack of. So I actually like this. That's a pretty optimized build for what he's going for. And it makes sense. It makes more sense why he's keeping the split missiles, even if I do think the MLT-10 was pretty better.
You know, that would be really funny if like he dropped it to reduce his profile.
Maybe. Smaller hurt box.
Yeah.
Is it a thing? Is your weapon a hurt box?
I'm pretty sure it is. But
that's hilarious. So.
Yeah.
So I must be the greatest player in the world if I'm avoiding shots on a earshot
Yeah. That was a big thing when I was trying to do P10 slam. I noticed it was way harder to dodge missiles while running.
Well, that makes sense because that's a frame. I'm more so meaning weapons.
Yeah. I'll test it in Garage and I'll post about it.
Okay. Nevin. Now, I was talking about how shooting in the Metrodome is not great, but I do understand it here. He's just trying to get the damage and get out.
Yeah.
But I do think, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he won the Stagger War if he just delayed his wins.
Yeah.
Because he's very evasive. He can, I mean...
You don't have a big window, though.
That is true, yeah. Because I'm just wondering, like, with the missiles, with everything else he has, and if he can dodge the Huxleys, and maybe jiggle from the Fusion a bit to avoid some of the shots, I wonder if he just went to Stagger War.
I think that like, he was a little bit too greedy there with trying to maintain. Like, one of the downsides of dropping the MLT is you don't get to just guarantee that your opponent doesn't drop Stagger, and so he has to keep on going back to back to back. And when he's doing that, the Huxleys stay up, and he doesn't. Yeah, I don't know. This is so.
Yeah. I'm not so sure about dropping it this early. For sure. I think when he had the AP lead, it made a lot more sense. But like, when I mean like a significant AP lead.
Yeah.
But you can see, like, just the estrogen chip, even at a ricochet, was enough to all that.
Yeah. Oh, swap.
And that shield is just preventing so much. Does sneak one there. That was nice.
I really like seeing how Etigen has kind of like joined the meta, because when the buff happened, I was like, no way is that relevant. Yeah,
I think a lot of people were writing it out, myself included. I was like, yeah, people were saying it's like crazy, but I still don't know why you would ever run it over him. But the constant hit rate of it is nice, and it also like the projectile velocity of it is.
Oh yeah, it's like 580. It's crazy.
It's why it's such a crazy land killer. That's why like it's so good at fighting land. It's why actually Ramen's build does really well into land because the SSG kind of just like keeps them alive. But as it stands right now, Sarkanum still has the lead, and none of these teams are getting through the shield.
Pretty hefty lead. I would just reset my stagger here.
Sarkanum does have a lot of staggering himself too, but not able to get the punish, and there's the top. And I think Nevin might just be done out of this one.
Yeah, I mean, don't even chase, just let him...
Yeah. He really wanted to stagger to finish off in style, but at the end of the day, if you can't get it, like, yeah, he's just gonna chill in the rat nest. Like, what's this guy gonna do? He has to get there.
Yeah.
The onus is on him to approach.
Turns off his engine.
Can he get another shot? Nope, that parry, I think, minus shield and heal.
It was close.
It was starting to come close, but a few more parries from Starcanum does mean that Nevin falls to the loser's bracket and Starcanum keeps going.
Makes it out. All right. Let's check in on bracket.
So Strider 2-0'd Farquad. KTN. Ooh, KTN 2-0'd Mai. Oh.
Interesting.
Let's go. NA.
We got Strider and KTN. If they're available, I'd like to watch that match.
Nice, nice. That would be a good one. We watch those guys all the time, but I say no to it. That is like the NA matchup these days. Strider KTN. We see those a lot over on Striker's side.
Which match?
KTN versus Strider.
Got it.
You've been seeing that a lot lately, which I am totally fine for. I'm just saying, like, it's nice seeing the little run back once. It's like a rivalry at this. They're also like friends. Like I could tell you, they're literally in VC right now with each other. Literally, like, no, Nova, the other Taka boat that's around.
Yeah.
He's like in the same group as them, like friends wise. There was a point where they were literally just doing like strongman voices while playing each other in tournaments. Like they are actually just like casual. It's so funny.
Dude, Strider's a beast. Oh, he made the top 10.
You did. Let's go.
Nice. All right, let's see.
Any doesn't look like any changes from the usual setups they're going. But for those at home, in case people don't know, Zimshio players have swapped to Alula for the most part because it makes the LAM matchup a lot easier because you can redline in the air and then go straight for the burst speed. Your means to catch is a lot easier because you just use your Alula neutral boost. And if you're redline in the air, you just block everything with your shield.
What do you think about this
getting punched?
Basho legs? Basho.
Basho legs, that was to preserve energy to my knowledge.
They're kind of heavy.
They are heavy, but with Alula and the fact that he swapped heads to 44D, I don't think it'll be too much of an issue.
I mean, he beats me, so whatever it is, it's working. But
I do think, I mean, I know Risa, I believe, still goes Melander. But
yeah.
the Basho, I don't think is a bad choice.
I've always thought that because it's got like awful energy defense, which is generally like one of the most important.
That is also something to consider. And 44D does have amazing defense, but you're downgrading your defenses still because, you know, you don't have Arrow.
That's fair.
You removed it so that you could have more energy with Alula.
Well,
and you know, it's nice seeing Lula. Go ahead, sorry.
Very, very dominant opening. And now they have to push as Lamb, which is not what they're good at.
This is exactly where the one downside of Lamb really is when they're down like this.
Yeah, and on this map too. This is like the hardest.
This map is, yeah. You can see what he's doing. This is exactly what we were about to talk about. Yeah. He can just go inside the shell, force KTN to come to him, and just loses forward because there was nothing else he could have done. And I do think with the adaptation that Zims have done with Alula on their build, I think it definitely solidifies them as probably the #1 build in the game. Because there was a lot of debate between this and Lamb. I was on the Lamb side. I did think Lamb was better, but ever since they kind of figured out the matchup, you can just go Alula, it has just been so difficult for the Lamb.
Have you seen the double therapist build at all?
Which one? Of the Lamb?
Yeah.
I've seen a little bit of it.
I was playing Omara on it last night, and it seems pretty flexible. One of the big issues with Nebula as your counter push is that it, like, shield just kind of stuffs it.
Yeah, it's not necessarily the worst thing into shield, but it's definitely not as good as a therapist.
Wow,
no question about it.
That was quick.
Yeah, very brutal. And one thing I will also say, it doesn't really matter because you know, therapists aren't used for its static proc ever. But 44D doesn't have very good system recovery either, and neither does Daryl. So, you know, that's an additional thing.
The once around, yeah, it only takes 1 minute and 20 seconds to proc instead of 1 minute and 40 seconds.
Exactly, you know. Just one more thing to consider if you ever want to swap to a therapist.
One of the things that I really like about therapist, it's totally irrelevant now, is it goes through Coral Shield.
True. Core Shield is very funny. Yeah, but we did have a Core Shield entered by Bulls earlier.
Interesting.
So there's that much. I'll say that. Oh, we see Prism actually making it through the losers bracket. Let's go. Cool guy I know from threes. Alright, going straight into it. And let's see if there's any adaptation. I wonder what... I'm very curious, because at the same time, Lamb versus Zim feels like an arms race in some way. Where, like, I learned something to make the matchup easier, we're going to learn something to make the matchup easier.
Yeah.
And, like, I wonder what's the Lamb's answer to this Alula application that they've done without sacrificing their other matchups, of course.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm like really interested in the therapist, because I do pretty good on Lamb with anything besides defoul, and defoul doesn't help them versus Sims very much. So to have them drop defoul and still be like viable versus I run away was pretty impressive.
I can see that. And then maybe try it against like some other matchups that Lamb might struggle with that change, and see if that is preferred at all and doable to mitigate the fact that we now have an easier Zim matchup.
What are, in your opinions, what are the hard Lamb matchups?
The hard Lamb matchups? I think this is mainly it. This is like the main one. Lightweight Kite as well.
Oh, yeah, with like rifles.
Yeah, Etsugens also do really well into Lamb. I think everything else either is even or winning for Lamb, but like those are like really it for the most
Speaking
part.
of things that are doing good against Sims, the Etsugen LRB shield?
Yes, that is something. Lasers in general do pretty well into Zim Shield, because they're not actually very tanky, and Shield doesn't do a whole lot to lasers unless it's like a specific type of laser.
LRB is also just like the perfect weapon to put behind your shield. It's like, oh, my cooldown or whatever.
Exactly. I mean, that's why Larpster was always good into Zim Shield as well.
Interesting. This is probably the closest match we've seen between them.
This is
still Strider's favorite, but
definitely a Strider favored situation right now. We did see the Pulse Shield dropped as well.
Yeah.
So I do think we might be still seeing curtains if Strider just plays this like exactly how you're looking at it.
So good on those shield blocks.
That's one thing that Strider is phenomenal at. I've Zim diddled this guy before because I was learning Zim Shield a little bit. Yeah. He parries all of mine and he somehow finds a way to get through with his.
I generally don't like shield very much, but I think it fits really well with like the Zim. Like it's definitely super strong, but it feels like it makes Zim more complicated. That's like where the skill comes from, kind of.
Yeah, that's where the difficulty of the build comes from, because you also
great job on Strider.
That was really nice. More than any other Zim build, you cannot shoot both at the same time, like all the time. You kind of have to. Risa will say you treat your left Zim like a completely different weapon from your right one. Like, that's what she'll tell you every time. You only really use the left Zim unless you're absolutely sure it's gonna land.
All right, checking on bracket really quick. People who are still in, we got Nevin, Bowles, Misaki, Moonlight Blaze, May D, Prism, Farquad just won over Cypher.
Nice.
And our next round is going to be the winner of Sea Knight and Starcanum versus Strider.
All right. I'm guessing everyone's playing right now, maybe?
Yeah. So let's take this as a moment for me to go and test if the hitbox actually is your weapons, because that's a really funny idea to me.
How would you test that?
I'm going to go into the garage, I'm going to equip a Harris, and I'm going to manual aim.
I like that. That's a good way. Alright, let me know. Actually, you know what? I'll test with you, because now I'm curious. That'll be it. I can... Try that. Get a Harris. My build's overburdened with Harris. I'll try a Curtis.
Maybe not. No, it doesn't look like it.
I don't think so. I'm trying missiles. Probably an easier way to do this. Yeah, it doesn't look like it either.
Interesting. Okay,
yeah.
Well.
I can't stroke my ego anymore, guys.
Or you could say that you were so smart you knew it intuitively.
Yeah, of course.
So while we have some time, I want to talk a little bit about the invitational that's coming up.
Go for it.
So right now, it looks like the prize pool is something like $300, which is pretty cool. Might go up as more people donate. And again, to qualify, any time that you have been in the top 10, whether it was season 1 or season 2, that includes if you just like, as soon as you qualified, happened to win 2 matches and you got top 10 for like 35 seconds before you lost and went back down to 1130 low. I don't care how it happened. If you ever had a 10 or below marker next to your S, you're qualified. If you ever got a first place or a second place in any of the events, including 2v2 or 3v3, you're qualified. And it's going to be... What was that?
Does top 10 for threes count?
It does not count.
Damn.
Yeah.
I was fourth.
Yeah, and the reason I have that opinion is because I've played a lot of people that have top 10 in threes, and I'm always like, does this guy know how to play?
It takes like one win. Like it takes like one win to get top 10
Yeah.
because of the win bonus. Yeah, I know. I understand. Also, yes, a lot of people on the ladder for that, they're either Japanese players or they're dog shit.
Yeah.
And maybe like at the very bottom you'll have like Fish and Farquaad and Bowls. Yeah, nobody likes.
The event is going to be Swiss until it breaks to top 4. We might change that depending on how many people enter. And then there's going to be every single round of Swiss. We're going to randomize the map. It's either going to be Dunes A, City A, or Watchpoint A. And then everyone will play on that map, and then we'll randomize again for the next round.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch it. I won't lie. It's gonna be a good time to watch.
I hope people show up. Lower grid. We are not going to do lower grid. Yeah, you're correct. I will not do that. You're so smart.
Oh, is invitational map locked, or is it gonna be striking? That's actually my question.
Oh, it's randomized, right? So
Randomized. Wow.
We spin the wheel and we say, hey, everybody's playing on this map, and then we spin it again.
That's pretty cool. I won't lie. All right, go for it.
Oh, you want to fight?
No.
No, I don't really want to fight either.
I don't know why. I don't know why I said go for it.
Okay.
Bro, have you?
Go ahead.
You ever played Urad in ones? Pain. I'm not doing that.
Rat? Yeah.
In ones.
Farquaad actually did that a little bit during 1.04 because he had just millions and millions of hours of threes experience for it, and he would like.
Yeah.
Meme
Oh no,
around.
I'm planning on getting S rank with Earrat next season. Singles. It's gonna be painful because everyone's like good at dodging ear shots and stuff, and
Yeah.
also everyone has shield. But you know, I'm gonna do it.
Let me check. I guess
It is the
C-Knight
me
is
build
probably
after
going to
all.
go pretty long versus Star.
That is true. That one might take a little bit. We could get a loser set in. Moonlit Masaki, I think they should be playing already.
Well, I
Nevin
also don't want to
Bowles.
miss the winners final. Like if we get
We
something, and then
could ask them to wait if you
we
want. But it of course depends on like the timing.
yeah, I guess if we oh, Star Kingdom just lost. Okay, it's C-Knight versus
Look at
Strider.
that. Look at that. All right, winners finals time. These guys have played before as well. It's gonna be a fun one to watch.
Like ever?
Yes, these guys have played a few
Yeah.
times.
I think they probably were playing today because they were talking in ACD.
Maybe. We got the Zimmy Gonzalez here. Kind of because I don't see Risa enter very much anymore. She still plays, but doesn't enter that much. So I think as far as the West, we mainly got Strider as our Zim Shield representative.
I had just played Strider
tournaments.
for the first time this week.
It's a fun time.
Yeah, I was like, I always saw this person like top of leaderboard, and I'm like, who are they? Are they camping? Like, who the fuck is this guy?
Dude, that guy even plays threes with me sometimes. That's how cool he is.
Nice. Oh,
Like
let's.
if you play threes, you're automatically cool in my books. As long as
As long as you don't
anyways.
get banned for other non-cool
Yeah.
activities.
Or during
Like-
terminal. In that case, you're in my naughty list.
Like smoking in front of kids, automatically out.
True. If someone gets banned for that in like a AC6 tournament, though, like, bro,
I'll do it. I don't care.
it'd be so fun. I mean, yeah, but it'd be so funny. Like, of all things to get banned at for like a imagine if that person was like the best player in the world
Yeah.
and just like smoked in front of a kid and they just got banned, like
So-
lost their entire thing because they fucking thought it was a great idea to smoke in front of kids. Like, bro,
Take our rules very seriously.
like what a way to just ruin your reputation, I guess. Like, of all ways.
All right, so Striker does have the higher elo, so smart money's on him. But let's see.
Head to head as well, I do want to mention C9 initially was doing very well in the first few games they played in tournaments. Ever since then, it's all Strider. Like, Strider just runs away with it.
They're a very intelligent player. I mean, they both are.
Yeah, and Strider was not quite used to the build, wasn't as master at it when he was losing initially. But I also think a big part of it is, I think every Rat Knight, or former Rat Knight will tell you, Zim Shield is easily the toughest matchup for it.
I think a lot of people have that opinion of them, to be honest.
Yes, but like, well, Zim Shield in particular, so
Yeah.
not all builds struggle with Zim Shield like that much.
I
Like, I would say
that
my rifle kite. I'd say my rifle kite build was fine too.
the pile bunker looked really, really hard for SK.
Yeah. And we're seeing someone, you know, who knows to alternate his Zims, and that's exactly what we're seeing.
Yeah.
Just get that lead, he can just get out.
And now he's
it's
faster.
It's really tough.
Yeah. I guess. Oh.
Nice catch, actually, but no time to punish because that shield comes out frame 1, as we all know.
Pretty close still.
Staggered yet again.
And that extension.
Yeah, we'll always say, like, the onus is on the Zim Shield to lose this matchup. As more so than... Because there's not many ways you can outplay a Zim Shield as a Rat Knight.
Yeah.
Even while heavier. Because, you know, you have the stats for it, but it just doesn't matter. You just get chipped to death at ranges where you can't make a difference.
It's pretty close, though.
It is good. It is closer than I anticipated, I'll say that much. And there's definitely a way that Strider can drop this.
Yeah, and Strider doesn't have the, like, the free rat, in the sense that, like, there's no buildings to hide behind.
Yeah. He only really has, like, the crater. There are the buildings over there with the Wraith, like, very far away. But at the end of the day, Strider still takes it. It was looking a little dicey at first, but...
I wonder if Javelin Alpha is correct here.
Jab Beta?
Yeah.
Maybe. I do think Jab Beta has gotten, not even so much because of the nerfs, but because people have just gotten a lot better at playing around
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's always been my opinion of, like, it's a new missile, so it's gonna feel better than it is, and then it gets nerfed, and then it's garbage.
Because people really, like, didn't think jabs were good at all, and then out of nowhere, everyone started using it because they realized, wait, this missile is actually stupid. That too, the map's also changed. That is also a great point. But I do think a lot of people were still sleeping on it regardless. And ever since then, though, people have adapted to it, have learned everything about its trajectory, all of its citadel, key crits.
Yeah. Like,
But,
even old VPM was like counterplay once you really, really learn it.
Yeah, you could make a totally argument for that too, without a doubt.
One stagger, pulls it back. Oh, runs into the building though, didn't see it. Has a PA to fix that.
And that's gonna be the game. Just the kick to do it. Yeah, Strider, last second there, kind of just got to just stat check him to death because... I mean, not stack check because he has a lot of stats, but you know what I mean. He kind of just sits there and shoots because he got that shield up.
Stab checked him. Got his stability.
Stab check. There you go. Yeah. So true. Always nice to meet you. I'll always do it for you, Strider. Yeah, I think Jab B is less so for this matchup. I think it's for other matchups. My question though is like, what could you go that would be beneficial for Zim Shield without hurting other matchups?
Yeah, I mean, I've always liked drones. I guess drones is pretty hard with combustion engine.
Could be an option. Yeah, it could be an option. That is also considered.
There might also be some stuff about ACTs.
Would MLT 10 have a place?
I don't really like MLT. I mean, they're low DPS.
That is a good point, but I mean, you don't really need DPS. You kind of just. I feel like you might want this consistent stagger build-up or something.
Well, they already have the MLT, the HML 04s.
True. Hear me out. HML PFAL swap.
You know, I really wish that hanger swap was full speed for everybody. Yeah, it's a big puzzle, and there's a lot of builds that are like that. Of like, hey, I recognize that Zim is in a really good spot, and I need to fight against it, but there just isn't many tools to swap into.
It's tough because you also don't want to sacrifice other matchups as well.
Well, like, to be honest,
But there's also really not many answers in the first place, aside from completely changing your playstyle and going for, like, you know, lasers or some shit.
Yeah, there's like Etsugen and lasers, and neither of those
like
going to shoulders.
Yeah, like maybe he could like put on an Etsugen instead of HML.
That's a good point, yeah.
That could be something, but a single Etsugen is not even that threatening to his infield.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like enough to turn the tides. And, ooh, actually, nice little hammer there.
Very close.
And a nice little jab B as well, but
That's,
unfortunately...
That edge of the crater is so positive for SK, because he can like, push through it. I haven't really thought about all the different places that like, hammer gets little perks on.
Because you can't really just, like, react to that or anticipate necessarily when it's through the terrain like that.
Yeah, and you can't shoot him. It's like a...
Yeah. Even if you're not in a place where, like, that hitbox will happen, you can still go for, like, a quick boost at the hammer, and they just can't, like, react to it because, well, they can't see you.
Same with that tent top. That's a good, SK's turning his brain up to maximum.
Yeah, like, those little, like, peeking hammers is something I actually learned a lot from, playing in the preset tournament, because I played 9 alpha in that. But it's just not going to matter when, Strider's carries are just so good.
Yeah, he's doing really good spacing, he's doing good carries, he just, like, he has all the tools and he's using them well.
It just feels like this whole series, there's only been, like, 1 or 2 hammers that have landed, like, clean, without shield being up.
Yeah.
Which is very, very... It's honestly not easy to do in a situation like that. Okay, that one was just dodged. That was really clean still. Trying to just knock him into there, you know, get back in there, but not able to get anything off of it.
There we go.
Ooh, nice,
but
no,
misses!
Out of range. And all the stagger is up on C-Knight.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to pop or something. I think it might just be over.
Very, very clean play from both players, though.
Yeah, but you can really see the differences in matchup.
Like, it's a bloody struggle, but there's nowhere you'd point out to be like, oh, well, they shouldn't have done this or something. It's just like, yeah, okay, I learned something.
It was just, they played really, really well, but unfortunately, the matchup sometimes just goes too far.
Yeah.
And Strider played well enough to compensate for that.
I also like to point out that Strider had 2 Zims more than SK. That's hard to make up for.
Exactly. What if you want 1 Zim? Did something like the Orange Stream build, but like heavier.
Is that was 2, right? That was 2-0?
That was 2-0, correct.
Do they want to go again? Okay. You guys are allowed to go again? I don't care.
What? Alright. That's silly. We have loser sets to stream.
We do have loser sets to stream. Chat, just confirm with me. Like, I didn't just like zone out that was the 2 full sets.
That was definitely 2-0.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Unless I'm stupid. Throw a board in there. So true. Oh, you weren't there for the. It was a Scuff Cup. I think it was Kine who had to leave early, and Bort just played for him. He obviously DQ'd like after the set, but he was just like, "Fuck it, I'll play for you, Kine."
I'm gonna return the room
so funny.
Close this out.
Yeah. I get they're eager, but you know.
Yeah, we'd love to see you guys play, but
when that already happened.
Yeah. All right. So currently we have Bulls, Masaki, Meidi, and Farquaad. And whoever wins that, I guess we'll probably see. I mean, we haven't seen any of those 4 players, and we've seen KTN and Starcanum. So I guess we'll take whoever finishes first.
Yeah. First to finish gets on stream. Hurry up. And if you don't want to be seen on stream, all right, then start ratting.
Oh, they're just starting. Interesting. Okay.
Oh, wait, bring them. I also want to point out that Bulls Misaki should be a tank ditto. Yes. Also, Bulls is on Coral. It's gonna be fun.
Interesting.
I do think the one thing that is good, or that Coral Shield is good with, is at least in threes, too much for singles. But I do think you just get so much stability that upright. Like, I mean, obviously you don't ever have to worry about.
Yeah, but it's all accumulated. Like you don't.
True. Good point.
If it had even like 70 reduction, it feels like it actually makes you take stagger faster. Like unless you're getting hit by Majestics or something.
I am curious how this is going to play out either way, because yeah, there's more lasers on the side of Bulls. You'd expect that to do really, really well. But at the same time, he's on 20C and Masaki is on 20B. And those are LCDs, which are very, very high damage.
I think Bulls has a matchup advantage here. But
maybe.
I don't know. Masaki definitely is, I think, plays more on. Are we waiting for anything?
To be honest, I could see it go either way, because the 20B might actually be enough to make up for the firepower.
And also having missiles lets you just like backpedal the whole time.
That too, yeah. You can build some stagger up before he's even in range. Let me see the stat differences. Also, there's not actually that much energy defense on Bulls' build because he's on Tiancan.
Oh, true.
It is a lighter. Is it really? I guess it's a little bit lighter of a. No, it's not, right, because he has the heavy larb and shit. And he has Howl. I'm so surprised about the Howl arm. He really wants that firearm spec.
Yeah, I think Howl is correct on tank, because you end up with pretty much. It's got ephemera stats more or less.
Yeah, it's comparable, and you don't really care about the weight at all. You care a little bit for like shuffling, but it's still not enough to make out. You do get the firearm spec, and you're on Volt, so your close range actually isn't that good without it. I actually dabbled a little bit with Howl on my rifle for similar reasons.
Uh-huh.
There's no point getting more defense. I wanted something to hit people better.
It's got really good carry capacity.
That too. That also might be a good reason. Maybe arms over... No, LRA, LRB, I'm pretty sure is not arms over burden on Ephemera. Now I think about it.
Alright, he opens up, he's backpedaling.
Here we go.
And we see the kick approach.
I know Masaki doesn't shuffle. Like, his movement definitely is not the cleanest. He kind of focuses more on his intuition, which he has definitely good of.
He's got hours and hours of play. He's probably like the most played player.
Yeah. He has very good tactics, I feel like, even if he's not a very mobile player.
Correct spacing on the PA from Bulls. Masaki just took a full fight from it. Oh, gets first stagger though.
Ooh. Misses the kick, but the core shield is broken, so this is actually a huge advantage though. But look at the health bar from Masaki. It's so low, and there it is, actually.
So one of the things we found
in the face.
Last time Masaki played a coral shield user is when coral is active, they actually end up taking almost as much damage from LCDs. So it might actually be worth like purging.
Maybe. Honestly. We saw like it breaks really easily too.
And Bulls got staggered like I think 3 times that fight.
He did. He was able to bring it back either way though, just because lasers do very good resistant damage. But
yeah.
Also, just the security of movement. You can see he's trying to run him down now. Oh, able to get one shot in before the pulse armor is popped. That's actually kind of nice if you're Bowls, I'm not gonna lie.
Bowls has really good movement.
That is one thing he's very good at. It's his tank movement. We see it with him all the time on his boat, and we still see it with his tank. But the stagger punish is out there. No, not able to get it off in time.
Nice, nice, nice.
And you know, I'll be honest, it does feel like the Coral Shield does block a decent amount of the damage. Because I'm surprised by how little... because he doesn't have much energy defense on this build, Bowls.
Yeah, it's like a 60-point difference.
Yeah, so I'm like surprised that the LCDs aren't doing that much, to be honest, as far as damage.
Well, it's like 2 weapons versus 3 weapons, kind of, because the missiles are so much lower DPS.
That is a good point. And the impact build-up, maybe he's just not getting the stagger punishes, because it does seem like there's not too much of that.
What happened last time is he got stagger and he went in for the kick extend, and like right as it happened, he Coral Shield to block the mini stun.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess like Coral Shield, like, and this is a build that's going to be positive versus Zims, so we might go back to like 1.0 meta.
Honestly, maybe.
I'd be hyped for it.
I like forgetting about 1.0. I miss the more active player base, but
yeah,
not my cup of tea.
Yeah, that was.
I'm a rifle player. You gotta sympathize with me. I'm a rifle player. You know how bad they were on launch.
Yeah, okay. I've been playing Rat the whole time, so I'm like, my life's always been miserable. But
I like that my preferred style of play is at least decent now.
Yeah, it's good. So these fights been pretty close. They definitely are both favored. Bumps into a wall a little bit, but he's not in a bad spot. Bull's going for the reset.
Definitely thinks Bull's spacing superior in this series so far.
Bulls has consistently been one of the only people who, or not the only, but like one of the first people to start thinking about a specific zone. Like early couple weeks, almost all of the players would just like counter PA, which obviously like it's dumb, but he's never made that mistake.
Yeah, he's always had like good full armor usage from the time I've been watching it.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, I don't think Masaki really has enough in the tank to survive the rest of this onslaught.
Yeah.
Do you think he's just gonna get chipped to death now?
And we were talking earlier about how Masaki can backpedal with the missiles, but because of his LCDs, he actually has worse mid-range. Like his long range is better, and his short range is just as good, but his mid-range is worse.
By a considerable amount, too, actually, I would say. And honestly, his close range was not as good as I thought it would be. It does feel like the Grolshan might be putting a little bit clutch. How much stability does Bulls have with the
Oh, just a fuck ton. I think that's almost max stability.
It is a lot, that's for sure. Probably more, yeah, definitely more than Masaki's build.
Yeah, appetizer.
Definitely. 48 doesn't actually have a lot of stability for a super heavy core.
Charge shots get traded.
Charge shot is down for a bit. I mean, they do recharge very fast, though. Yeah, not able to actually get much of a punish off of that either. It was very unfortunate for him. And I just think maybe I underestimated this tank a little bit when it comes to...
Yeah, I've always just kind of laughed at Coral Shield, but it's doing well.
It feels like it's actually helping a lot, especially in this matchup. It just feels like there's just not enough damage on Masaki's side.
Bull's starting to hug the houses. Looks like he's ratting and he's happy with it. Interesting decision, given that the opponent has missiles, but he's been doing well so far. Oh wow, good drop.
Oh, that was a very nice drop actually. Dodging all those missiles, giving a really hard angle to the LCDs, and that's it.
That was clean.
That was really nice. Yeah, that second phase was like played perfectly. All right, moving on. Let's see who else is there now. Matey did beat Farquad. Sarkana made.
All right. Let's see what the next round is going to be.
For sure, for sure.
That was good. I like that. That was a. So
yeah, I enjoyed watching that.
Winner of that goes into KTN. Is Starcanum and Media? They already started playing. Yes, they have. I think. Yeah, they did.
Nice.
Okay, I guess we watch Bulls versus KTN.
Why not? Let's do it. Kind of see some KTN gaming. And I do have to say, this might be my last one, unfortunately.
Yeah, no problem. The end of the tournament is a lot easier for me to handle than the beginning of it because I have to like.
Gotcha.
So this is going to be interesting. The KTN is the opposite side of Bulls being really positively spec'd into Zim. So if we can pull off a win versus this quad, then it will officially be a tournament viable. I mean, it is tournament viable. It's gotten this far, but like.
Yeah. You could say. I mean, it's gotten this far, so it definitely has merit.
What is KTN join looping right now? Oh, he's like trying to join but getting canceled. Got it.
From Softed. A different kind of From Softed, though. I do believe this build that Bulls is going was originally conceived for LAN matchups, I believe. I could be wrong.
Interesting.
So it has an easier time to beat LAM. I could be completely wrong, honestly.
I know nothing about tanks. Like when I see tanks, I'm just like, wow. I love to shoot them.
Yeah, wow. They they be kicking the air. Tanks when they're kicking the air be like kick, kick, kick.
Well, like I've played probably like 100 hours versus Taka, right? So it's just
True.
very second nature to me.
Yeah, and like the differences on, especially because Taka basically like plays one build and changes it up once in a while. But
yeah,
usually, he's got his style.
Yeah, but there's a lot of different tank styles. When tanks were big,
and
go ahead.
Ever since also the tank got nerfed, which is kind of just the best one. They've just been deviating.
Interesting.
Trying to find ways to make it work.
He just dropped his shoulders.
Yeah. Wow. Actually, I thought he would at least keep the cold shield.
And
but
he's got
he just needs that speed. Also, he's on 20C, so he has more. He has more to chase us.
It's still gonna be hard, but
I wonder if tanks would be better off just going forward than this point for matchups like this. I know you lose damage, obviously.
I do think the coral, yeah. But it's only it's a 5% bonus instead of a 12% bonus.
Yeah, for 20C, I know Bulls, Farquad, they both really like blue gens. They've never liked using coral, at least in 3s. I don't know about 20s, but that could be why they're sticking with this. But I do think either go like stay on 20B or just go coral gens.
Oh.
Okay, that's good. I think he got a few shots on, but nothing enough to really seal the deal. And
this looks pretty hard.
Will seal the deal for the Fate of Bulls instead. Yeah, this does not look easy. If this was originally conceived to beat LAM, I'm not seeing it. I think, if anything, they should just get more missile, like better missiles to deal with Lamb. That'd probably make the matchup a lot easier.
Yeah, but I don't know what single missile you could put in to like.
Well, I would swap the. I would go like LRBs with like 2 missiles, if anything.
Oh, oops!
Something like that.
Just accidentally clipped the coral.
Yeah, and already a decent amount of damage on Bulls. Trying to desperately dodge some of this, but when you're on a map that's open,
yeah,
not a whole lot you can really
especially from
cover.
behind.
Yeah, when you're behind particularly. Of course, if you're not, you can just chill in the shell.
I think I'd like to see some LRA charges, but Lamb has pretty good energy defense, so it's not like as...
It's the one stat it has good at.
Yeah.
And it helps a little bit. Also, LRA has the fastest projectile velocity of the lasers.
Yeah.
The charge shot. So I definitely agree with that. And we can see that he is trying to go for it now. Trying to see if they can do anything, but unfortunately, KTN spacing is just too good.
Really hard, yeah. Yeah, I wonder...
I do think the play is 2 back weapons. Or maybe Soups, if any. Or if you need just one, Soups. HMLs couldn't really cut it because HMLs have a very predictable trajectory.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't work.
I saw for a bit early Zabi was doing an Aurora swap in. So like one of his shoulders was Aurora on Lamb he would do for the mirrors.
Right. That could be an option, maybe. But yeah, just very dominant so far. I do think because like there's a reason why Taka likes one Soup a lot because it does help with the matchup a lot. The other option maybe is like Fasans and like Split / HML, I guess. Yeah, but I don't even know if that would help. Because Fasan's gonna at the very least be maimed, but Lambs are also like good at avoiding those.
I'd love to see Tank get something though, because like it is good versus Zim, and it's what was keeping him in check previous patch.
Yeah, I do think the speed nerf of it was completely unnecessary. I think the problem with Tank has always just been, one, the relationship with 20B in Tank just should not exist, and 2, they had way too much defense.
I don't know if I agree with that. I think that 20B is kind of made for tanks.
I think it's a little silly that they can conserve so much energy and use heavy back weapons without that much sacrificing. I think you should at least you should be able to sacrifice some defenses, like not go 48-4. IMO at least.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never really been I can kind of tank a little bit, but I'm mostly just a Navy rat, so.
Yeah. That's just my opinion, of course. So, but either way, we're going straight into the next one. Actually a shot, but it was an LRA shot there, so wasn't a crazy amount of damage.
This is so hard for me.
It's especially bad when you remember that we're on this map.
Yeah, well, I mean, this map is large, but the only map that's really small, like you have, I guess the cities are a little bit smaller.
I'm just thinking because of how the lateral, the amount of lateral space.
Oh yeah.
It's long in every direction. So bad for tank, right?
Yeah.
Like there's no way it can really just catch it. Like other builds that can catch it, maybe less so. Like here for tank, it's rough. So I like maybe in other stages this will be a little bit better, but here on out it's just
it feels like you really need a missile to like make up for it, or maybe like an Alula or something. Not Alula. Elu. What's the shield thrower called?
Sorry.
The shield thrower that goes on shoulder.
Oh, Kranich? Oh, that's not Kranich. No, Yule, right?
Yeah. You just need something to make the approach work, and I'm not sure what it is because again, I'm not a tank player.
Yeah, I do think because missiles will force the Lamb to do a very specific trajectory to avoid it, which makes everything else easier to land.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the things I was learning when I fought that Therapist Lamb is like Therapist I can dodge no problem, but like Therapist plus the Coral Missile really makes it hard for me to like get out of it.
That's why I use my Jab B soup combo for my rifle type. It is very good at, because Jab B forces Lamb to the left and soups force them to the right. You know?
Give me the old 1-2.
Yeah, you have to hit something. Another thing that makes that matchup a lot easier, having Koro Shield. Because I can just, you know, redline in the air and then rebate right back on the chase.
Interesting.
Which you don't get the luxury on a blue gen.
And you're pretty light, right? So the
lighter than the regular Sandra Dance, yeah.
So the fact that it's accumulated doesn't really matter a whole lot.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's still I'd say it's a skill matchup for sure. It's not winning for me, but
I'm here for innovation now.
Yeah, no, it helps a lot. The Scudder also shoots faster than Ratatouille RF, which is why I have it. Like both in bullet velocity and fire rate.
Oh.
And it does look like Bull.
He's gonna do the melee. He almost got him.
It would be funny if the one time he got something was after verging everything.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
That was kind of what we expected. It's a pretty tough. Without missiles, it's pretty tough. But
and I do think like, yeah, that's another matchup where the onus is on the better build or the better matchup to really make any sort of mistake. Otherwise, you know, you don't really get to play the game on the other side. But either way, I think that's going to be the last one for me. I appreciate you having me on commentary. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, all those at home. And don't get away. I might be leaving, but the tournament will continue, of course.
Absolutely.
I don't decide that. Obviously. Anyways, peace, everyone. Bye-bye.
All right, you guys are stuck here with me. We're going to have Mei D, and we're going to get rid of... All right. And whenever you guys are ready, go ahead and start. Yeah, boat has an interesting place in the crit meta because it's fast enough to play, but it's not that great at like Zims are one of the hardest things for it, and I think one of the reasons you go tank is to kind of try to mitigate that match. But again, I'm not at all. That's not my specialty. I think the term for somebody who's washed but it's never not been washed is just bad. All right, whenever you guys are ready, go ahead and start up. And it is a single therapist PFAL, which is pretty good. I actually really like this MAD build. And I think that they went positive versus KTN at the last Panda Cup, although it was pretty close. What is KTN doing? All right, well, we are starting the timer. So I guess we'll see how long it takes. All right, so it's been 3 minutes. I think we have rules for how long things are supposed to take, right? Rules. 10 minutes to start playing, or you lose the round. So it's been 4 minutes already. 6 remain until match loss. All right, well, very exciting match that we're watching. What do you guys think of these two, Mady or John? I think Mady's going to have a pretty decisive win here. Okay, let's look at who's left. So we have 2 quads, KTN and Mady. We already talked about them. We've got C-Knight. I think that C-Knight actually has a build that can play against quads. I don't know if he's positive versus them, but he's really, really heavy on Ian defense. I think he's like 1390 or something like that. I think C-Knight is probably negative versus Strider. We saw that KTN is negative versus Strider. So, oh, I got some message really quick. Let me try to translate this. So I guess we'll see based on the next match who, if he has a positive or a negative matchup. So 3 minutes left. When Mel left, I think KTN took that personally. Oh, got it. 1324. All right. KTN, you have first match lost. All right, opens up. Beef out charge straight across. Again, the only difference between these two builds is the Therapist versus the Peafowl, or sorry, Therapist versus the Nebula. And I think Therapist pokes just a little bit better, but we'll see. I'm pretty sure all the rest of their parts are the same. There might be slightly more defense on Matey's side. Matey comes out with a little bit of poke. Other than that, it's pretty similar. They both run out of energy. And it's going to be a lot of round and rounds, basically, until somebody falls far enough behind that they have to get aggressive. Matey bumps into the wall, takes a... lands the hammer. Interesting. A little bit of a misplay there from KTN, looks like. Both people going greedy with hammer throws to create spacing. But there's a really big deficit that KTN has to make up for. And they are pretty uncomfortable to push when the other person could just hammer back and finish the round. So they kind of have to get close enough to bait out a defensive hammer. Or try to do some really, really aggressive QB into stagger, which they probably could do right now. But they didn't QB. So. And that looks, yeah, that's settled. All right, next round. And this technically is match point if Matey wins because of the amount of time that was taken. But we'll see how KTN responds. Again, slight advantage this time from KTN. Other than that, people are just trading chip. Not a lot specifically to point out. It's going to go back and forth until we see about a 60% stagger due to, I guess, multiple high aggression trades. But everyone's playing pretty safe right now. They're both kind of happy to just let the dice roll. I'm a little surprised by that, because there's only 40 seconds left. But I guess one hit is enough to see anything in any direction. Very, very good dodges from KTN. That's not easy to do. And lands the Nebula right as Meiji runs out of energy. Very, very clean. 20 seconds left. Oh, and just throws it right at the last second. I think they both have PA still left. Oh, very close. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, if Meaty is okay with it, I'm not going to push it. Yeah, cover play is really, really important. Being able to recognize when you have advantage or don't have advantage, and then choosing the amount of variance you play towards. So a lot of times you're kind of looking at this as a series of phases, right? You have to establish enough of a buffer that you're not going to get chipped out and lose AP lead, and then you have to have a path to kind of get to your safe place. It's really obvious on Jorgen because you'll kind of play around the rat hole, but every map has little areas like that, like the house here or the tent here are kind of options for it. Alright, so everything opens up with charge, whiffs on both sides. So that charge actually will hit or miss depending on the ping of your opponent. Because it actually aims based on where it is on your screen, but it hits on their screen. So it's the only defender side FCS weapon. Very clean circles from both players. Again, very, very small advantage from KTN early on. A little bit early on the Nebula, but it hits, so it works. And Meaty is almost full stagger, but KTN playing pretty cautiously. PA comes out from maybe resets. You haven't seen a lot of PA play, actually, but that was really the perfect time to do it. Although the fact that they had to do it means that they're losing by a pretty big chunk. They need like a hammer connection or a coral missile or something like that. But I'm also seeing like not a lot of QBs, which is maybe correct. These guys play Lamb and Lamb mirrors way more often than I do. But I'm just very surprised by it because they have cores that respect for it. Just barely misses the hammer there, or barely. I don't actually know what the distance was, but connects on the other side though. Double connect. That looks like a clincher on this because I don't think 15 seconds is enough to come back, and it definitely isn't. Alright. A little bit of Caster's Curse there. Switch over to KTN. See if we can learn anything from these guys, because again, I don't play Lamb a whole lot. Big miss, both sides of that. But it might be too far away to hit with the normal missiles. It actually looks like Nebula, at least these players playing versus each other, it looks like Nebula has been more accurate, which is very interesting. It might be that KTN has better experience playing versus it, or it might be, I don't know. It's a really weird weapon. A little bit of chip right as energy runs out. Hammer from both sides. Oh, gets the stagger. That is a pretty strong argument for a win on this round. Breaks hard lock, does a spin in place, and takes a hammer because of the movement loss. I actually don't know if he's in hard lock. That might have just been no weapons charging. Yeah, it doesn't look like hard lock. Oh my goodness! And I say it was a one game, but it still looks losable. Taps him at the end, it goes down to 1-1. We're going to finish it in the final. And both of these rounds have been 2-0, so there might be some learning going on, or I'm not really sure. Definitely impressive. I like the comment from Tillisher. Get that bag. You do you. Follow your dreams. Alright, opens up just kind of the same as usual. We're going to see a Pithao charge, looks like. On both sides, whiffs on both sides. And really small pokes, just no stagger on either side. And they're at kind of their target range, which seems to be about 300 meters or so. Looks like right at the edge of Therapist. So probably like 350. Energy drops a little bit early on Mei D. I don't know if that'll matter in the grand scheme of things. A little bit of a height advantage too, so they have more to drop from. I think that you want to be higher than lower, but I'm not really sure on all the intricacies. Opportunity for a hammer stagger, doesn't quite connect. And very close range nebula, very meaty, definitely worth it. And it's just a very, very close mirror match. Both players similar skill levels, similar builds, similar HP pools. As we try to close out this last game of the set of 3. Goes for a hammer, gets punished with a nebula, back and forth. Every single hit is changing who's in the lead. Looks like Mei D has a slight advantage. They both pop PA. Mei D pulls it. And that's actually a good fact. If you're behind on AP, you don't have the opportunity to PA during those last 10 seconds if your opponent still has it, because they can always counter PA. So you have to kind of just accept that you missed your opportunity and play big risky and hope that if your opponent PAs, then one of your missiles will connect and take the lead, in which case you can PA after that. Slivers trading back and forth. It looks like there's a radius that Therapist will start to hit. So there might be like a trap to learn between Pifao and Therapist in this match. That's something kind of interesting to practice. Big hit. Oh my goodness. And that's going to take the round, looks like. Oh, not quite. There it is. All right, down to the wire, very last match, the very last set, before we go into the losers finals. Kick to gain some air. Everything's pretty normal here, starting with P-Pows. None of those P-Pows have connected. I actually wonder if it's worth it to just skip the charge. Not sure. Maybe the charging forces different kind of early posturing out of your opponent. What I would be thinking about if you're a Lamb looking to win Lamb mirrors is how can you punish your opponent for existing in this like circle space sort of. And I think that's one of the things that Javelin kind of did. But most Lambs seem to be moving off of Javelin, so clearly that is not working. Very, very close, 1 minute in. Still just down to the wire, every round has been. Very clean play from both players. And we see a hammer, and hammer is hard to earn back from. All right, last 20 seconds. Can Mei D make a comeback here? Looks like a no. Nebula hits. That's going to be a lot to try and come back from, and I think they both have PA. So, yeah, clinches it out. Really clean play from both players. Great job. All right. This is the losers finals. The winner of this goes on to try and fight Strider. Strider has beaten both of these players, so it's a pretty tough place to be in. But we come here to play, and maybe some new things have been learned. All right. So I'm interested in this match to see if the early PFAL charge is actually paying off, because it definitely works against heavier people, and it might just be a muscle memory that people learn. I do it a lot of times. But if you don't add in something like a meme, it feels pretty rough in that lamb mirror. So kick to go up, kind of standard. P04 from the opponent, so they're not going to do an early approach or anything like that. But you do have to kind of look for where they are so that they don't hide behind the house like they did right here. Looks like there was no meme on those P-Fows, but they're just kind of doing some bombing to create space. They're going to be running out of energy here in about 10, 15 seconds, something like that. So looks like they create some space, pop up in the air, reset, and they're back where they wanted to be. A little bit lower on height, but they can always make that up on the next reset. Something to note, when you're in dunes, the crater is the highest point on the map, so if you're fighting over the crater versus a biped or somebody on the ground, you actually have the least distance there. SK takes the tent as control, comes up. They both, looks like they tried to hammer, but SK's a little bit late on the hammer. Maybe he tried to block. Not really sure what happened. I would have just eaten it for the trade, but SK is now negative on HP. Has to try and make up. And they're not really fast enough. And they only have one missile that pushes. They do connect with some of those HMLs though, and that's really all you have to do. Takes the lead, spends the PA, and now they're under the tent, and it is not going to be easy. KTN comes in at high stagger, resets with PA, big AP deficit, 15 seconds left. And, oh, almost snags lead. No one more Nebula? No? Yes? Oh, almost. It's pretty close. All right. Again, we see Nebula come out. Charge shots miss, but they always are going to miss an AB approach. In situations like that, I actually press reload to cancel it, turn it into a normal shot. Good Nebula on the drop. Perfect timing. They're just starting to, I guess, create space. They're happy with that. There's no reason for them to do an engage. It's a small AP lead, but it is, 5%, something like that. And it just gets bigger as they force approaches over and over. Hammer trades go off, and even though a trade is very, very positive for SK, still not enough to turn tables. Although the follow-up HML, yep, there's the stagger, and that is all he needs. Counter PA here, yep. Not quite enough, came out a little late. And we're going to see even one hit. It's going to be enough to make up the rest of that. Javelin coming out, yep. And he's going to start his space. He is on the ground though, right next to a Nebula shot. guess didn't really have the distance to make it connect though. So now he has to push on Javelin, which is not something you want to do. Got pretty meaty hits. Good maim there. But again, kind of the same position we were in last time. It's really hard to push on Rat Knight if you start losing. It's really where the route comes from. So even though the 0-4 is pretty weak on approach, I'm pretty sure he's still on 0-4. Seems to be good enough. I know that SK was struggling a little bit with, yeah, he's on an 0-4 with Lambs earlier in the season. And KTN is one of the best, not the best, right? But he's in the top 100, so he's a serious contender for good player. And he's on Lamb. Probably only 15 or so Lambs higher ranked than that. Alright, we're going to watch from SK's perspective this round. See some tent play opening up. Feral does have pretty good scans, but you can't really scan straight up, so he has to kind of exit to refresh sometimes, depending on where KTN is. Excuse me. Just small pokes, looking to waste some time here. I'm not actually sure that's correct. I mean, I guess you don't want to make a bad engagement, right? So you have to wait until they kind of are at a compromise with when approach is reasonable. But it seems like it's pretty hard to recognize when, like that, he just missed a energy reset. Very, very good routing here. Hits with the Javelin. That's what he wanted. And now he's got a pretty clean path to victory because this is pretty much impossible for KTN to push on. It's not impossible. I've seen Goma do it, but it's definitely not easy. You have to get really good with those T-Fall moves. You have to do like a... Oh wow, good shot. You have to do a Coral Missile and then rotate and shoot P-Foul from the other direction. Or Nebula, I guess Nebula works too. But timing attacks are really, really important for learning when to push on cover. It looks like SK has pretty much just solved this round. And winning this round does let him hold a tiebreaker for the next round. So he can just sit under the tent. Which I don't expect him to do, but it is a very, very effective... like in that situation, he was kind of just playing under the tent as if he was going to win a time tiebreaker, which I guess he would have if they had tied both rounds since he won the first one. Takes the Javelin Missile. That is really, really painful. Although I guess it doesn't really change a whole lot because the tiebreaker was already on SK's favor. So he has to get a meaty hit, something to make up. Does take a little bit of damage, but still not quite have... Oh! That didn't quite make it. That'll make it though. That'll take the lead back. Not quite, yeah. He's got it. SK has to approach. He's down towards the ground though, which is exactly where SK wants the approach to happen. Big hits. Not enough though. And I think that SK is exactly where he wants to be right here. Doesn't give KTN time to reset on height, and he definitely doesn't have a HP deficit. Pulls a PA, resets stagger, going back in. hard aggression. And I guess he's deciding to go back to the tent. 40 seconds is not too much to pay for a guaranteed win. Maybe what he's thinking. And KTN has to play aggressive, which means risky, which means punishable, and that is something that Rat Knight is built to do. So we see 18 seconds left, and I don't even think with a stagger, I don't think it's possible to put out enough damage with how tanky that biped is. One of the most durable builds in the game, I think only surpassed by possibly Tank. I think technically even better than both because of the stability and the shield. Very hard to punch through. And that's it. SK wins 2-0. We're going to go into the finals. SK versus Strider. Both people whose names start with S and are in S rank. Coincidence? I think not. Well, his name is C Knight, so yeah, technically it does start with an S. But yeah, good point. E rank. Let's demote him. Get this unranked trash out of here. These two players are both probably in the top 5 of North American players. Very consistently up there. Consistently doing well in tournaments. So, haven't heard anything negative about him. We did see Strider win pretty decisively the last time they came up. So, we'll see if SK's learned anything new. Or maybe he'll have to pull out a new build for the Invitational next week. Alright, so early posturing, pretty much even on both sides, going back and forth. SK definitely having a higher stagger, and it's going to take longer to reset because of the weight difference. Going to pop PA pretty soon. Oh, actually just gets a very, very light punish. So I think that's a win from SK's side, even though he's technically negative right now. Because that took almost a minute to get staggered. And pretty much the best that he can go for in a situation like that. Tries to bait out shield, doesn't really have hammer punish, goes for it anyways. Drones plus the Zim's really, really strong here. And Zim drone shield has been something we've seen pretty much since the first patch. It's always been good, it still is good. Kind of the core of Armored Core, actually, if you think about it. In the competitive scene, the frame has changed a little bit, boosters changed a little bit. It comes out, misses, and Strider demonstrates what a 5% AP difference will snowball into as long as you keep on punishing on it. So just very, very clean play. And this looks probably too big to come back from. Oh, goes for a tent hammer. Just the practice. Respectable. All right, first round down. Let's see if he switches anything up. Let's go from Strider's perspective. Drones are charged. And he does have match advantage for tiebreakers, although I don't think it'll come to that. Blocks the very, very clean. Blocks the hammer on approach over a dead angle. Almost predicted, probably was. Hammer comes out. Oh my goodness. The PA at the exact worst time. thought that that was going to be a very, very large swing. And that's going to be, looks like a stagger pretty soon from both of them. And it was from both of them. SK just holding on to the lead bit by bit. That javelin stagger at about minute 30 was pretty impactful, but it's hard for him to really rat against something that is faster than him and just as good in CQC. And it's just bit by bit getting bled to death. Strider has pulled the lead back in his favor, and SK doesn't really have much to do besides struggle, which is what happens. Very, very hard win. Round 1 is over, and we might see an undefeated run through the whole leaderboard. Standard opening, SK's on the other side this time, so he goes to hide behind the house. This house is too thick to hammer through, unless you're on one of the corners. So, Strider goes for a pretty intelligent, actually, ricochet attempt to try and pull AP lead, but it doesn't quite do anything. And I think now he's stealing some drone angles. Drones do connect. Very good play there. And he's got lead and is untouched. Staying just outside of hammer range. It's a hammer, but almost has a stagger. Tries to slow play the Zims in order to do a stagger extension into a wall, but instead gets punished for it. Pretty interesting, actually. And SK now has plenty of time to play soft. Lands a hammer, good play around the crane there. Or I guess that's a, yeah, it's gotta be a crane. Has to engage, they're both high stagger. Tries not to let SK reset, although he probably is going to. Oh, no, resets. If he gets a Zim shot here, it might be enough. It might be enough. It is not quite enough, but it's pretty close. That was very good. All of those extensions were really just like at the last moment. But one more shot. PA comes up. Oh, SK hits a wall. That was his match. It's tough when you have enough things that are like make or break and you've been hitting them all. You get mental fatigue towards the end of a round. So we're going to see a pretty similar opening, although SK's choosing to look like play around a crane here. Those might be a little bit more positive he's found because of the hammer size. And Strider has demonstrated that he can angle over the houses with drones. Whiffs a hammer. Back and forth, stagger's about the same, hit points are about the same. Lands into a wall, whiffs a kick, gonna get staggered pretty soon, looking to get staggered at max range. Hammers into a PA, resets, although he's at negative on the HP bar and negative on PA advantage. So this is a pretty bad situation to be in. Does take a javelin shot around the corner. Here's another one. But he makes up for the stagger difference almost immediately as Sasuke tries to rat with AP deficit, which is interesting, but working. Stagger happens. Oh, maximum delay on the... That is really, really impressive. I definitely don't know those timings. And he's got basically just 2 more Zim shots. He's going to clean this out if they're clean. There you go. And there is your winner. Strider hasn't lost a single round. Lula, Basho, and the rest is a pretty standard. Let's see if we can bring him in here for a second. Hey, good job.
Hi, Disco. Thank you.
So generally, when somebody wins, especially if they've got any kind of insight, we'd like to try to pull that out, teach it to the players. So first question is just, did you notice anything weird during your run, or was this pretty typical?
It was pretty typical. It was like one of the first times I really like used Basho outside of Striker.
Mm-hmm.
But and it's also like one of my first. I think it's my first Panda Cup that I win. So it's
Yeah, good job on that. You did a really clean run.
Yeah, I think KTN or somebody did point out that I think I didn't die a single time.
Yeah.
Like in none of my matches.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely beat me pretty hard, so I'm happy to see that other people are losing too. So your build is kind of atypical. The Alula is fairly normal from what I hear, but the Basho legs are new. You've said it gives you a little bit better jump, which definitely the footsies is there, but like, what is your EN efficiency?
My EN efficiency currently on this build is around 3.4k, like just 9 off being 3.5k actually, which is like around PO4 numbers on my Lander of Arrowhead.
And Basho versus what is like the 422 legs, which are generally pretty popular. Is that a significant drop? Like I don't know Zim numbers that well.
It is kind of like a very big drop in terms of like anti-energy defense, because VP does definitely have like the better like stats for like stuff like matchups in LRB heavyweights and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they do lose out a bit on jump distance. Like same with Melander. Melander has 107 and VP has around 112, which compared to 132 isn't as great, but it's definitely noticeable when you combine it with the Littles and like ground quick boost and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. You had just great, consistent, like being able to pull up the pressure. And I think the only other player that had as consistently positive trades as you was Nevin. And he was a lot lighter. So it's just very interesting. I don't know a lot about Zim, so whenever I see something that's even a little bit different, I have to have somebody hold my hand.
Yeah, well, basically for me, I like to use a Basho because when I heard that people were like Zim shields like started like adapting to like a Lula, I tried to use that on Melander Viral, and your energy efficiency tanks to like 9.8. No, sorry, 2.9k, which is like very very bad for like grounded engagements, because like you would get a like you wouldn't get your energy like full capacity. Like even for catching lambs, it would be like very bad. So the reason, like the whole reason why the VP like frame is very popular in Japan is because they normally like play on like a more fair like connection.
Yeah.
So they like whenever they like have to like dodge stuff on reaction, it's like always there. And then when you combine that with like a Lula on ground, when you have to like dodge LRBs, it's like very very like noticeable. So us in the global, we do have to use a bit heavier frame to like in order to like compensate for that. So when I heard that we started swapping to a Lula to like have better matchups against Japanese lamps, I decided to like try out Basho for a bit. And I mean, it's not really that noticeable in terms of like stats. You do lose out on like 100 AP on VP compared to Basho, but your overall energy defense is way better. Your energy load on VP legs does kind of tank though, but that's why you use the VP head to like in order to like compensate with that energy loss. So
Yeah. Interesting.
because like originally I did swap from the Melander build from Reese's build, which is a Vero and Melander, to directly to 432s. But his energy efficiency is around 3.1k, which I cannot adjust to that well, or at least you cannot really adjust to that in global.
Yeah.
It's definitely way more punishing to like play with a higher latency. So
It's so funny to hear you talk about like 3.1 versus 3.5, because whenever I play a combustion, I'm at like 6k, 7k, something like that. So I'm like, are you peasant?
Yeah, I do understand that a lot because like normally the sweet spot for like Zim Shield is around like above 3k.
Yeah.
Like anything below that is just not viable.
Yeah.
Like you're like no matter how much like you parry and stuff like that, your downtime is gonna be like very noticeable, and a lot of people know like how to exploit that. So when people heard that I started using Basho legs and I like started performing well, they started looking at like the energy load, and it's like one of the lowest energy load legs in the game. So it's like, wait, why does nobody use this? Like I was like looking for somebody to like explain to me like, okay, I need somebody to like hold my hand, sit down with me, and explain to me why Basho is like not viable.
Well, they have really low defense for weight, is I think what most people hate.
Oh yeah, definitely. I tried to use originally Basho legs with Melander head. Not Melander, sorry. Viral head, just to like in order to compensate for the loss of defenses.
Yeah.
But I find that more attitude stability is way better for builds like a Zim Shield or like builds in general that depend on a shield.
Yeah.
Because that's basically like your HP bar. That's like your second HP bar normally. Because like it doesn't matter that you lose out on kinetic defense if you don't have like the attitude stability to like make up for the loss in Basho leg. So I just went with VP head.
Yeah, we saw a couple times when you got stagger and it was like, oh, well, there's 6k gone. So
yeah, that's the whole reason why I was very hesitant on using VP originally, because like before it was just Verlhead. Like I thought it was like a mad genius saying that, oh my god, I have the speed of a VP Zim Shield frame while having the defenses of a Melander Vero one. And I noticed that it wasn't really worth it because your energy supply efficiency goes from 3.5k to 3.2k, which is very noticeable when like having to like skirmish on like a ground quick boost and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, Vero is nice. The stats are like very, very good, but attitude stability is just way more important for builds like Zim Shield and S2 Shield.
Okay, so speaking about builds, we saw you clean house. What are your negative matchups?
Negative matchups for me, I'd say honestly it has to be LRB heavyweights. Like it's always 50-50 with those, because like then when you take like into consideration like the low energy defense that this build has, it does kind of struggle against them.
Have you played the Etsujin LRB? Like what rank do you plays?
Oh, like play against them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I played them. There was this guy from that was like S16 at the time. Not sure if it was Zabi. I'm not 100% sure about this. I might be spreading misinformation. But I have played against a couple of like high rank S players, and it's honestly, I'd say like 60-40. Like in my favor, 60-40.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, that was when I was doing research on Zims. That was one of the builds that I put as like maybe positive versus them. But if you're winning, you're winning.
Yeah, it depends a lot on your parries. Like, if you see 432 how he plays against LRB heavyweight shields, he always plays outside of assault boost, because if you're in assault boost, you cannot like tank the LRB hit. Like it's not something you can do. I mean, he can do it because lower latency and stuff. But that's not possible. If you're global to Japan or vice versa, it's really, really not possible. So I'd say that'd be my hardest matchup, honestly.
Cool. Okay, so last question I got. Given that you have both won a Panda Cup and are top 10, are you planning on being here next week?
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Okay. With that, I got to go get dinner and stop talking. But thanks a lot for joining me.
All right. Thank you, man.
Bye.
Laters.
All right, and the stream is over.